Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. Today I want to talk to you about trophy whitetail, and I'm not really talking about how to harvest a trophy whitetail. I want to talk about what classifies as a trophy whitetail, and I'll tell you right from the beginning in this video that this is something that there's a lot of guys out there, these keyboard cowboys, that get down on people for shooting small whitetail or shooting small bucks, and it pisses me off. So this is something that makes me mad. And I may get a little raw and may get a little unedited in this video just because this is something that really gets on my nerves. But I want to talk about trophy whitetail in your area. A trophy whitetail may mean something completely different than a trophy whitetail in someone else's area. With your budget, trophy whitetail may mean something completely different to someone else. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to show you my biggest buck. This is the biggest buck I've ever harvested. This is about 100, he green scored 132 inches. I don't know what he scores at once he's dried, but 125, something like that maybe. This is the biggest buck I've ever killed with my bow. And around here in my area, this is a trophy buck. In northeast Oklahoma, where I killed this buck, this was the biggest buck I've ever killed and biggest buck at that point that I'd ever seen. So this is a trophy whitetail. This buck was 4.5 years old. Big body on him for northeast Oklahoma. He field dressed at 150 pounds, which for northeast Oklahoma, that's a pretty good sized whitetail. 4.5 years old. He was in his maturity. He was reaching his prime, and this was the biggest buck that I ever killed. And in my area, in that area, I cannot expect to kill a buck much bigger than this. There are some out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, but in my situation, I had 80 acres. With permission to hunt on, and this is the biggest buck that was running through that 80 acres. If I had 800 acres or 8,000 acres, then maybe things would have been different. Or if I was hunting in Iowa or Texas or someplace south or western Kansas, maybe things would have been different. But for northeast Oklahoma with 80 acres, access to 80 acres, this is the biggest whitetail that I had access to, and I'm proud of this whitetail, and I don't give a damn what anybody says about this whitetail. So you have to think about your situation when you think about trophy whitetails. You can't think about what you see on the internet. You can't go on there and think, well, this guy killed a 180-inch deer, or this guy killed a 160-inch deer. I'm only going to kill 150-inch deer and up. If you don't have a 150-inch deer in your area, you may end up spending your life without killing a buck. And if you're fine with that, then that's fine. More power to you, you know. But I'm realistic about what kind of whitetail are in my area, and I believe you should be too. If you want to kill a buck like this, don't let what someone says on the internet, on Archery Talk, or on Facebook or something like that deter you from killing a buck like this. When I look at an animal, I think, am I going to be proud of that animal? Am I going to go to work? Am I going to go to my buddies? Am I going to text out pictures and tell everybody what I killed? And if the answer is yes, I'm going to kill it. And if someone gets on Facebook and they're going to put me down for killing a buck like this, I'll tell you right up, they can kiss my ass. If they don't understand that this is a trophy in my area and this is a trophy to me, then they can go to hell, and I don't care one bit about what they have to say. I don't care about their opinion, because if they live in Iowa, or if they live in Texas, or they have a big pocketbook, they may have access to bigger bucks than this, and I don't. So this is the kind of whitetail that I'm going to kill. And I'll tell you right now, after hunting as long as I have, and I'm hunting in Missouri, if I see a buck like this that's 4.5 years old, I'm going to shoot him. So absolutely not going to think twice about shooting him. So a trophy whitetail should be the whitetail that you're proud of. A whitetail that in your mind you can say, I am proud to harvest that deer, and I am proud to harvest that thing, and I'm proud to go show him off. So this is my biggest buck, and a buck that I'm proud of, and I ain't going to let anybody deter me from killing another buck like this. So you got to think about what your situation in your area is. If you're someplace like northeast Oklahoma, or you know, certain places in New York or Rhode Island or somewhere down south where they just don't get big gigantic whitetails, this may be the biggest buck you ever seen. You may pass him by and you may not ever get an opportunity on a deer like this again because you let someone else influence your thought process. So that's a trophy to me. The other one I want to show you, I've only got 3 deer on plaques. That one, and I actually have one. I have one that could be this one's brother, except he's got a kicker on one of his tines. I think it's his G3 here, but I got those 2, which are pretty good sized bucks, and I also have this one, and you're gonna laugh at this one. This is a 5-point, and I killed this buck in northeast Oklahoma as well, and you can see this mount's not in great shape anymore. This has been, man, I killed this thing when I was 19, 20 years old, something like that. And this is a trophy for one reason and one reason only. Not necessarily because of the antler size, because I tell you what, in a couple years this buck probably would have been something really special. But I crawled on my belly. I crawled through briars. I crawled through mud with my bow in front of me, and I stalked up on this buck and killed this buck. When everyone in northeast Oklahoma was saying you can't stalk up on bucks, I kept trying and I kept trying and I kept trying to stalk up on deer through those woodlots until I made it happen. And it took me a lot of failed attempts to do it, but I set myself a goal that I was going to stalk up on a deer and I was going to shoot one with my bow. And I stalked up on this thing within 20 yards, crawled, drew my bow, landed on my back, and came up on my knees and shot this buck and hit him right through the heart. And he actually went within sight and laid down and rolled over and died. So not much as far as antler size goes. Well, we got about 40 inches of antlers here maybe. But to me, this is a trophy. To me, this is as big a trophy as that one or the other one that I've got on the wall because of what I had to do to accomplish this hunt, you know, to be successful killing this deer. I had to work hard. I had to learn a lot. It took me 3 or 4 years of learning, of trying, of finding the perfect situation and finding the right scenario to be able to stalk up on this deer and to be able to put him down. So this is one of the smaller deer that I've ever killed as far as bucks go. I have shot smaller, but this is one of the smaller bucks that I've harvested, and he's right up there on the wall with these 130-inch deer. Because to me, in my mind, this is a trophy that's worthy of showing off. And when people ask about this buck, I get to tell them that story about how I stalked up on this buck and harvested this buck with my bow from 20 yards away, you know, after crawling for 100 yards in briars and mud and water. So it's a good story and it's a great memory. I killed bigger bucks in this that I don't remember, but this one I will always remember. So to me, that's a trophy whitetail, and it doesn't have anything to do with his antler size. So I guess what I'm trying to get across here is these guys on Facebook and these guys on Archery Talk that are telling you, I see it on there all the time. You guys they got pictures of a buck and they're like, would you or would you not harvest this buck? And then someone will say, yeah, I'd harvest that buck. And then down in the comments, someone's telling them, oh, you shouldn't kill that buck. That buck's only 2.5 years old, or that buck's not big enough, or blah, blah, blah. But in your situation, if you want to kill that buck and you think that buck's a trophy, put the hammer down. Put an arrow in that thing and do your best to harvest that animal. Because in your situation is different than their situation. And when we talk about your location is key and your budget is key. Because if you're like me, I work for a living. I don't have, I'm a welder for a living. I'm a blue collar guy, and I don't have excess money to go someplace and harvest a 180-inch deer. I don't have the money to lease the type of land that has 180-inch deer. And I don't have the money to travel to go to places that have 180-inch deer. You know, I'm on a very, very limited budget, and I'm on a very limited amount of time. I could go to some public land and try it, you know, someplace in Iowa, but I've got a week's vacation, and I've got to really use that week's vacation to not only hunt, I also have to use that week's vacation to fit in time with the family, emergency situations, and vacations. So my situation, I'm going to hunt around here. I'm going to hunt, I've got 40 acres this year. That's what I'm going to hunt. And I'm not going to shoot a buck like this again, you know, that little buck, unless I could stock up on him or the situation was something special. I'm not going to shoot a buck like that again. But that one will always be a trophy to me. The 130-inch deer, I'll shoot a buck like that every year, and I will be proud of it, and I'll be on Facebook bragging about it, and I'll be extremely happy to harvest a deer like that. Those will always be trophies in my mind. Now, if I go to Iowa and I pay big money to go to Iowa and to go someplace like that, I'm not going to harvest that deer. I'm going to harvest something that's 150 inches or bigger, you know, if my situation is different. So that's what I'm trying to convey here, you know. Think about your situation. Think about your animal or your bucks in your area and harvest what you feel is a trophy. In my mind, they're all trophies. I love killing does. I love killing bucks. You know, I'll kill anything that I think is a trophy, and to me, they're all trophies. I'm going to let young bucks pass. But like my son, I got a fork horn that's about like this. He could be this one's brother. That this is going to be the first year my son's going to get to hunt, and we're going to go out with a crossbow. And if that buck walks in front of Jacob, Jacob's going to put the hammer down on him, because Jacob's 8 years old, and that'll be his first buck. And if he's able to harvest something like that to him, that'll be a gigantic trophy, and he'll learn a lot from that. He'll learn, it'll be a special moment for him. And as he grows older, if he wants to change his opinion on what is a trophy and what he wants to kill, then he can do that. But for his first buck, his first deer, I'm going to let him shoot whatever comes in front of him. I'm going to let him shoot whatever he wants to shoot. So that's what I'm trying to get across here. Hopefully I probably went a little long on here, but this is something that's really, I'm passionate about, because it's been really ticking me off a lot lately. You see these guys running people down for shooting little bucks, or saying they would shoot a little buck or whatever. So shoot what's important to you, shoot what makes you happy, and that's what hunting's about. So who gives a damn about what someone on Facebook or someone on Archery Talk or something like that says. So definitely shoot what makes you happy. So appreciate you guys watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe. Please check out our website, ikesoutdoors.com, and please check out our hunting videos, where hopefully you'll see another one like that put down this year. Appreciate you guys watching.